Is it working? I see you! Ah! Okay, so I kind of wanted to do that to somebody. I just got this lovely, beautiful eye thanks to my roommate. I know it's been a while since I've made one of these kinds of videos. It's been a crazy, crazy, crazy year. I've been very busy with meetings, research, and like school, all this stuff. So, I am finally making another video, another tip video to hopefully help you guys with pathophysiology. This past year, I was busy applying to nursing school, which I got into, so I'm really excited about that. But our spring semester, we were able to take our first nursing course for the school. So, I decided to get it out of the way and take patho. And I think that was a great idea because I've heard that once you get into nursing school, it is already so crazy that if you add patho to it, even though it's doable, it's just a lot harder. Without further ado, let me talk to you about the tips and the study methods that I used. Now, for pathophysiology, it's going to be a lot harder to talk to you guys about my methods because I was kind of like a little all over the place with all of my methods. You might have melena, dark, tarry stools, which has particular or foul smell, or a particular foul smell. That was helpful. After every single lecture, by the way, these lectures were 2 hours, so it was a 4-hour course, 2 hours each time we met. So after each lecture, I would take these PowerPoints and turn them into flashcards. Now, I mainly did this because when I started studying, sometimes I would look at these PowerPoints and say, oh my god, that's way too much, I can't look at that like all in one sitting. But by using flashcards, I was able to break it down. For example, in clinical manifestations of duodenal ulcers, I have everything. For some of them, I would write down the notes that I took in class. For a duodenal ulcer, I just wrote a little extra in that the ones where, like, the part that's my notes, that's in purple. And then everything else that she wrote is in black. So I knew what I added. So that was very helpful in the fact that not only am I going back and looking to see what the PowerPoints actually said, but I've noticed that when I write things down, I retain the information a lot better than when I'm just typing everything up. So it's actually been scientifically proven that people are able to remember things if they do write it down. So I also highly recommend you guys do that. And yes, it was good when I was at places where I didn't have my other notes, and I would always have my flashcards with me. I would just pull these out if I was waiting. What I would do with these cards is I would take them, each chapter, and I would put them in stacks of 10. So what I would do after that is I would go through each set of cards 5 times, and I would make sure that I understood it. So that was after writing these cards. This is still like a week or 2 before the actual test. Once I did that, and once I felt comfortable with the information, I would go back through this and I would start writing notes. I would write them in my own words, and I would also write the ones that I wasn't like sure about. I would like turn my notes into things that I could understand, and if you put it in your own words, you are able to remember it and retain the information better. After going through each chapter separately, after, like, let's say I finished chapter 41, then I would go onto the Pathophysiology website for the book that we used, and I would take a quiz. After I did that, I would use this Pathophysiology study guide that the school provided. Well, we had to buy it, but it was very useful, and I would use it and do each exercise. For the second chapter, we did altered cellular and tissue body, so I just went through the whole thing. It has like a few pages worth of things that you can, activities that you can do. Some of them weren't helpful, but there's a lot to learn in pathophysiology, and with such little time, you can't learn everything. So there were a lot of things that didn't pertain to what we needed to know in our test, and so I would just, bounce around saying which ones I would use. I bought the Pathophysiology book, but I tried to read it, like the first few chapters, and then I realized that I really don't have time with everything that I was doing. Like, it was pretty much impossible to make time for that. And I realized that I necessarily didn't need to read all of it, because most of it was extra information that I was adding into my brain that we didn't need to know for these tests. I started using this more as a reference, and it is, oh god, it's Pathophysiology, the biologic basis for disease in adults and children. It's the 7th edition by McCants Huther and Brashers wrote. So, and it's pretty heavy. When I would take this, like when I would bring this everywhere in my backpack, my back killed me. And that's just not good. So yeah, I decided to start using that as a reference. It's a really good book, and it has a lot of your anatomy and physiology. So if you didn't buy your A&P book, I highly recommend you buy this Patho book, because it's going to help you throughout your nursing career. Oh, when I did look at the flashcards, I also read them out loud. Because I'm a kinesthetic/auditory learner, just listening to myself read the notes also helped me memorize things. With pathophysiology, like I said, I was a little scattered with all of my studying methods and stuff. I was just doing this and doing that and blah 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 blah. But what I realized I was doing was, when I was reading through each of these PowerPoints, I would talk to myself in my head and say, okay, this is happening because, this also happened, so these symptoms are showing because it's invading this system and that system, and complications with those can occur and lead to other diseases. So I just, I broke it down by each step, and I started thinking conceptually, which my brain has started doing ever since micro, I've noticed. With A&P, it didn't do that. I forced myself to memorize, and that's not helpful. It's a lot more helpful if you think conceptually, because guess what you're going to be doing as a nurse? You're going to have a patient with a disease, and they're going to show symptoms and they're going to show signs, not symptoms. They're going to tell you their symptoms. And you need to figure out what they have and what problems can arise after that. That is what I did with my patho. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please comment below. I will try to answer all of the questions. I know I've been pretty bad recently. Like I said, it has just been a very, very hectic year, and it's still gonna be very busy over the summer, but I hope this was helpful for you all. Once I get into nursing school, hopefully I will be able, after each semester, hopefully I'll be able to make more videos that will help you all out. By the way, I ordered my scrubs and stethoscope. Well, okay, I already had some scrubs, but I needed certain ones for my college, and I bought a turquoise stethoscope that has already been shipped. So if you guys want to see that, I will show it to you in another video that I will hopefully make before I leave for summer stuff. Yeah, okay. See you later. Don't forget, I can always see you. Okay, that sounded really creepy. I'm just gonna stop now.